anyway, just like Stacy said, I'm an instructor of business here at Western. I teach primarily marketing and management courses, and I really, really like it. And as part of my responsibilities here, I served on the group of people that established Western's new bachelor's degree, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is that Western has a bachelor's option and what that might look like for you or for someone else, or just what that looks like kind of in general. So when we get started, how many of you have seen this video? Really? Should we watch? Most of you haven't seen this? Okay, let's watch it. I wasn't going to play it. I was just going to talk about it. It's not very long. It makes me laugh so hard I can't even take it.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow next to this.
Okay, so then the judge just kind of tries to walk him through it. You guys, I can identify with this poor cat man so much. I'm so happy to have students back on campus. Like the Zoom, I swear, anytime I log onto Zoom in a different device, the controls move, or maybe I just wig out, but I could easily have been the cat filter lady. So I'm happy to have you guys back on campus. I know most of the other professors are as well. We just really like the energy, and it's good to see your faces and not just do this on Zoom. But now I do feel like I need to find the cat filter, because I like how his little mouth moved perfectly with what he was saying. Okay, so the exciting news is Western does have a new bachelor's degree, and it's a Bachelor's of Applied Science in Business Management, and there's two different emphasis areas. There's an emphasis in organizational management and an emphasis in industrial management. And we'll talk a little bit later about what the difference between those two emphases is and what that would look like for the student. But I just wanted to get this is what it is out there on the table. The thing that's really awesome about this degree, and part of why I love it so much, is it's really designed to take what you're passionate about, just like our slogan says, take what you're passionate about, and then add some business skills to it, add some leadership skills to it, add some analytical decision-making skills and some conflict resolution type skills to what you're already passionate about. Lots of times, I would have professors from other disciplines. There was a history instructor here for a long time, and she would go to meet with her colleagues and with the people that employed their students. And they would say, you send us excellent historians. They really know their stuff. They're into history. We love it, but we need them to have some business skills because we're looking at them to manage some museums, or we're looking at them to know how to read a budget and to do some of these things. And so these professors would come back to me and say, hey, do you have one class in the business program that we could add as kind of an elective option to our program that would help students kind of get these skills? And I was like, yeah, there's this one, and it would at least give them the background and the knowledge. And so we kind of worked through that. But what this degree is really designed to do is to take you and to take what you're passionate about, take what you have expertise in and what you're interested in, and then add those business skills on top of it, which is pretty great. And not traditionally how traditional business curriculum has worked. So it's a little bit of a flip-flop, but we're seeing this happen in more and more states, which is exciting. So just a quick overview of the process of how Western got this degree. A few years ago, I want to say 4-ish, 2017 kind of is in my mind, the state of Wyoming got together at the legislative level, at the gubernatorial level, and within the educational government type bodies. And they set some pretty hefty attainment goals, educational attainment goals for Wyoming. They kind of are looking at our economy, like we all see now, and are thinking, we might need to do something different. So what does that look like? What do we need from our workforce? What does our workforce need to be employable and to be really like something that these larger companies and industries can look for and can help Wyoming thrive? So they set some of these attainment goals that pertain to, how many students are we graduating from high school? How many of our 25 to 45-year-olds have a post-secondary credential of some form, a certificate, a degree, or something like that, and then they set some goals. Well, within that goal setting, there also started to be conversations about how do we go about that. Wyoming's an enormous state, and we have one four-year institution. So they kind of started to have these conversations of like, well, what can we do to increase access to higher education for our residents, to make sure that they have the ability to access the education that they need to be successful? And a lot of conversations started around that. The legislature passed a bill that then allowed the Wyoming community colleges to begin offering bachelor's degrees to help serve the state in addition to the University of Wyoming. And they passed a bill that said that we could offer what are called Bachelors of Applied Science degrees, which are considered a work-ready degree. It's not considered a degree that you would necessarily take and transfer somewhere and continue on to a master's degree. Although I will tell you that we have had some online master degrees programs reach out to us and want to work on some articulation. So we'll see if we can get that done. But the thought process behind it is kind of to get people the skills that they need to get a job and to move our state forward. There are many other states that have done this, so they looked at like what Washington did and what Texas did and Florida did, and we just pushed forward from there. So that law got passed, and we got excited. But as Western, we decided that the first thing that we should do is meet with our local industry partners and local employers and say, what do you need? What are you actually looking for? Because it doesn't do us a lot of good, and it does you zero good if we create a degree that they're not looking for, right? So we met with them. We tried to understand their needs. We had lots of meetings with them. We asked them a lot of questions, and they had a lot of input on how we were going to go about building this degree. And kind of at the same time, we did a survey that went out on Sweetwater Now and went out through email and chamber emails and just throughout Western's entire service area, asking students, what skills do you wish you had? What skills do you feel like you need for your job? What do you think would help you get ahead? And most often, it was so interesting. What the industry partners were saying and employers were saying lined up with what people were saying. So I was like, this is good, right? We seem to be kind of on the right track. And most of the responses we got were leadership skills, management skills, conflict resolution, how to read and implement budgets, and things like that. And so then we started to go about this degree development, and we worked on developing the degree. We took it back to industry and employers and said, what do you think? They said, oh, it looks really good, except for you should change this one thing, or what about this, or could you add this into this class? And so we did that. And then we took our degree, and we went to our accrediting body to get approval to begin offering a four-year degree. Something that's super cool that I don't know that I knew beforehand was that when you do that, the accrediting body actually looks at the whole institution, because what it does is it takes Western from a 2-year degree granting institution to a 4-year degree granting institution, which is a big deal. So they had to make sure that we had financial aid processes in place and registration and records and the health of our library and the tutoring available and the student support. And they took a look at all of Western. And then they said, and we got our letter in January that said, okay, yeah, you guys are ready to offer this degree. You have everything in place that you need. Go for it. And so now it is an active degree. We started teaching classes for it today because they're block classes. And so we're pushing forward, and it's super exciting for us. So here's a quick overview of what the degree actually is. To earn a bachelor's degree from Western, you need 120 total credits. Of that 120 total credits, we're going to direct 30 to 31 of those in general education areas. We're going to have 46 to 50 of them in a lower division requirements that are required. And then 42 of them are going to be from upper division requirements. Now, if you add those up, you're going to say to me, those don't total up to 120. They don't. I'm just talking to you about the requirements. So there's elective choice within this degree, which is good news for students because you get to choose what you care about. Do you sometimes feel a little bit like pulled in by a pathway, like it's so prescriptive? I know that our traditional transfer degree in business, you have like no options. Like you're taking what we tell you to take, right? So this degree really allows you that choice to study what you're interested in and to kind of build up what you're passionate about. In those upper division requirements, the ones that were developed for this degree, the classes are all taught in blocks. So what that means is they're 7 weeks in length, This semester they're 6 because we messed with the academic calendar for COVID. But traditionally they're 7 weeks in length. They're all online. And they use what's called Open Educational Resources or Cengage Unlimited. So what that means is you will either pay no money for your textbook, or you can buy a Cengage Unlimited plan and have access to every textbook for every one of those classes included in that 42 credits. Have any of you used Cengage Unlimited before? No? You have, yeah?
I thought I don't know if it's unlimited.
Okay. So the way it works is it's a subscription model, basically. And so for a 4-month subscription, it's $120. For a 1-year subscription, it's $180. And for a 2-year subscription, which is about how long, if you're a full-time student, it would take to complete this degree, that means it's going to be $230. So that means you can get every textbook you need for $230. I don't know about you, but when I bought my accounting book in college, like a few days ago, no, years ago, many years ago, the book alone for 2 classes was $250, right? So this should help reduce some of that textbook cost. And then if you want a physical copy of the book, you have the e-copy, but if you want a physical copy, you can rent them for $7.99 a semester. So that's pretty cool, and I really am grateful that we chose to build around making the textbook cost a little bit less for the student. And the other question I get asked a ton about this degree is, well, how much does it cost? The tuition money or requirement for this degree is the same as it would be for the associate's degree. So you pay the same amount of tuition for a 3,000 level class as you would for a 3-credit 2,000 level class. So that's really nice and a bit of a savings over other traditional 4-year institutions. Does anybody have any questions so far? Am I going too fast? Okay, perfect. All right, so here's kind of the meat and potatoes. And I'm sorry, these next slides have a ton of charts, but I didn't know how to do this otherwise. I kind of racked my brain, and this is all I have. I'm sorry. So when you go back and you see that there's these general education, these lower and these upper, we're going to break that down so you can actually see what it looks like. So this is the general education requirement for the BAS degree. It is very similar to the general education requirements in our AA and AS degrees, and then our AAS degrees also have several of these classes in them as well. So the thing that's nice is you guys are already students here, you're already taking classes. We want to be able to count that coursework towards this BAS degree. So if you're in any sort of program where you're taking classes, we're going to see where they fit within here, okay? So you're going to need that first year experience class, why all of you are here. You're going to need 2 English courses, and you can pick from the list that's provided. You're going to need some form of Wyoming and US and Wyoming constitutions class, which also includes some of those history classes there. You're going to need science and mathematics, 2 classes in the science and the math. Now, you see here that I'm going to suggest, there's a list in the catalog, but I'm going to suggest that you take either Math 1000 or 1400, and then Stats 2010 or Stats 2050, and you'll see why. If you don't, if you take another math, no problem. It's like not a huge deal, but this is just what I'm going to suggest if you decide to pursue this degree and you haven't chosen yet. You need a computer class, a social science. Again, another suggestion is if you're in a degree path that lets you choose what social science elective you take, I'm going to suggest you pick Economics 1010, because we're going to require you to take that later, so it's kind of a 2 birds, 1 stone type of deal. There's humanities and applied arts, and then there's some general ed electives that are included in the general education. So that'll make up 30 to 31 credits that you're going to take there. Now, this is where the distinction comes between the organizational management emphasis and the industrial management emphasis. So you'll see how they all line up until you get down to the electives piece. But here you'll see why I'm saying, hey, if you haven't picked your social science, let's pick Econ 1010, because we're going to ask that you take that, and it will fulfill both requirements for you, okay? So these are the extra classes that if you haven't already taken or you're not taking them as part of your associate's degree, that we ask you to take as part of the BAS degree. And then you have a lot of elective choice in that lower division. So you get to pick between 29 and 31 electives if you're in the organizational management area. If you are interested in the industrial management emphasis, that means that you're taking more classes that are down that technology wing of the school where they've got welding and auto and diesel and things like that. So of your 29 to 31 electives, 15 of those are going to be made up in classes from those disciplines, and then you'll have 14 to 16 made up elsewhere. Any questions? You guys are good. You're like clipping right along. I like it. Okay. So then here are the business classes that we're going to add to whatever you're already taken or to whatever you have a deep interest in. And the list is here. So you can see it includes some professional writing. It includes organizational change and design, understanding the psychology within an organization and how to work within it. There's data analysis. There's going to be a loss class, some ethics. What did I miss? Human resources and some communications and a budget class as well. So there's 36 credits here total that we're going to require that you take, and these will hopefully provide you with the business skills that employers were looking for and individuals were saying that they needed, okay? Then, to complete that 42 credits of upper division that are required, we ask that you pick 2 electives from these 5 courses that are offered and add them. So you get some choice here as to what sounds the most interesting to you. Are you hoping to go to work and you want to be the person managing the projects? Take project management. Do you think that you're going to go to work for a company that you might have to be in charge of some of their social media and their marketing? Then I would suggest take marketing. Personal leadership, you get to develop your own leadership style and really explore who you are and what works for you. There's lots of different leadership styles, and there's not necessarily one that's more accessible than the other, except for nobody likes to be told what to do or like forcefully, right? Can we just agree? No one likes that style. But any other style you pick, and really kind of develop like how you want to interact with other people and how you want to operate as a leader within your organization. And then there's the training and development piece as well as information management and security. If you feel like you're going to be working with databases or lots of different information within your organization, that would be an excellent one to choose. All right, so that's kind of a quick breakdown of the 4 different areas. It's 3, but I broke out the electives from the upper division. So let's see what it would look like to have an associate's degree from somewhere and bring it into a bachelor's degree. So I picked a random associate's degree from our catalog at Western, but if you had coursework from somewhere else or a degree for somewhere else, it's a very similar type of audit to kind of decide where you would be. So what I did is I put those BAS requirements over on the left-hand side, and then I just chose musical theater on the right-hand side. And I went through the musical theater degree offered at Western. It's a unique one. I didn't know. It had 65 credits to graduation. Most of our degrees, I believe, have 60 or 64. So I learned something when I put this together. But I went through and I was like, okay, if you completed that degree, what would you need to take to complete the bachelor's degree? And you can see a lot of the areas are marked complete. And then some I've highlighted and said, okay, this is what you would need that are still at that 1,000 and 2,000 level. And then once you have those, you will take the upper division classes. So you can see over on the right that there's 65 credits from that AA degree. Then the ones that I've highlighted total 17 credits. So like economics is not included in that musical theater degree. They have a different social science. So we're like, okay, take this one. Let's get you into stats, some other things. So that's those 17 credits. Then you've got that upper division core, those 36 credits. Then those upper division electives, which is 6. And so that would have you earning a total of 124 credits, which is over the number. What's the number you have to have for total? 120. Thank you. Yes. So there you go. And that's how that would work. You can look at me. Okay, well, Beth, I don't have an associate's degree. that's fine. If you're interested in this and you want to add it as a program of study, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to have an associate's degree to enter the degree at all. We can take what coursework you do have. If you think that this might be something that you want to do after your associates, and you're in a program now, we can look at your program and I can say things to you like, okay, you get to pick your social science class. Let's pick economics. Or you get to pick your second math class. Let's do stats. To kind of then get you a little bit further ahead and have fewer of the highlighted ones when you're done with that degree to roll over into the bachelor's degree. Do you guys have any questions about that? Okay. So I'm short. I told Stacy, I don't think mine's going to take 45 minutes. But anyway, if you guys are interested at all, I would love to talk to you. If you ever want someone to look over your transcript or look over what you're doing or talk about your options, I'm more than happy to do that. So there's my phone number in my office and my email. Email's probably the best way to contact me because I'm not in my office all the time, but then we can set up a meeting if you'd like to come in and meet, or even a phone meeting if you'd prefer. So again, don't hesitate to reach out. I don't mind one bit. And then Peg Larson is the advisor up in Mustang Success who is most often working with bachelor students. So she knows her stuff too. So if you'd rather talk to Peg, she's an excellent resource. And then I put the website address, look at this is insane, to get to the information for the bachelor's degree. But good news, you can go to Western's homepage and down in the announcements, there's a we have a new bachelor's degree, just click on it and it will pull it right up. It has all of these requirements listed there for you and information that you might want there. There's links to Bureau of Labor Bureau of Labor Statistics from the government about all the different management jobs that they suspect are coming up in the country, and then historical data about how much people in those jobs are paid. There's links to that on a national level, and there's links to that at the local Wyoming level. If you're interested in okay, if I were to do this, what kind of job could I get, and about how much would I expect to get paid? There's links off of that webpage that you can kind of explore there. It's fairly interesting. Also on that webpage, there's a contact form that if you fill that out, it comes directly to my email address. So if you just put in your name and then any question you might have, that's another way to contact me is through that lead form on the website. I think it's an amazing degree. Of course, I'm a little bit biased, right? But I think the thing that I believe is the coolest is it really can take what you're passionate about. If you have a musical theater degree and you want to go and run a musical theater, this is what will give you the skills to be able to have the business and knowledge to do that, and you still get to operate in a world that you love, which that's really where it's at, right? To get paid to do something you genuinely like and enjoy. And that's what I hope for all of you. Okay, so thank you so much for coming. Here's the QR code.